I feel weirdly pathetic that I'm like having to like clandestinely record because I don't want to confront my parents about my stupid podcast.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Okay, welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, a podcast about the loop-de-loop of infinity, the humdrum miracle of existence, and the crushing weight of it all. Here, in the northeastern suburbs of Chicago, it is Monday, December 20th, 2021, year of our Lord, jet lag. It's 8:30 p.m. on the dot. This is a podcast first. We are recording an episode on opposite ends of the earth. So checking in with Asian correspondent, Jason Newland. What day is it by you? I'm still
Tuesday. It's Tuesday here.
I'm still so like childishly amused by
the fact that I'm in the future and you're in the past.
Yeah, just the time zone differences. And like
I've got something nice to tell you. The future is just as shitty as the past.
Awesome. Even like the thing of like when you leave from Korea and go to the States, how like you basically like gain time, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I left at 6 p.m. like from the airport in Korea. Then I landed at 6:30 p.m. the same day in Chicago, like 30 hours later. Time travel. It really is. Speaking of time travel, Time's Person of the Year. Elionus Muskinus. Yes, Time's Person of the Year is Elon Musk. What a ridiculous choice.
Because of his vibrating cock?
I wish that were the reason. That would honestly be a better reason than the ones they give in this article. Let's see, just to hit the prime source here. Time magazine, expressing the spirit of the rich and complacent, utterly indifferent to human suffering, has declared Elon Musk their 2021 Person of the Year. Musk is the epitome of the most loathsome creatures on planet Earth. The pandemic profiteers, those who have seen their wealth skyrocket, while millions of human beings lost their lives because capitalist governments all over the world refuse to carry out elementary public health measures in order to fuel the rise of the financial markets.
But hey.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it sounds right to me.
But hey, what's the bright side to all this?
I was just gonna go with Time's line about Musk. He's the avatar infinite possibility. The avatar of infinite impossibility, Elon Musk. That's what Time Magazine called him, and, well, they wouldn't lie. It is Time Magazine. Notable for always choosing a great person of the year.
It's funny how much, like, Time is just such a, like, a trashy rag. I remember thinking it was, like, really serious when I was a kid. I think maybe it was more serious before, like, the internet really, like, exploded, but,
maybe, I don't...
But people still care about, like, who the person of the year is, including myself, I guess, because, like, what was it, last year we got pissed because it was, I think it was Fauci?
Yep, it was Fauci.
Or it was, like, Fauci, and then it was, like, see sub footnote 21A-3, and it was, like, also, all the healthcare workers in the pandemic. But Fauci's the one who had his fucking name in big letters up there. But
see, I hate this shit about Musk that Time said. They're like, he's the avatar of infinite possibility, our usher to the remade world, where shop-worn practices are cast aside and the unprecedented becomes logical, where Earth and humanity can still be saved. Perhaps this vision of the greater good comes with a human cost, but of many never voted or signed up for Musk's walled zero-gravity ride. That is no consequence of him. Fuck this Ayn Rand worshipping writer. I don't know who the Times writer was. I only say that because I just hate this fucking ideal of the genius savior, and Elon Musk definitely isn't the genius savior.
Yeah,
that's what they're trying to paint him
as.
as.
He's such a poor version of that, even. Like, even he is. I agree. He's a poor version of an already, like, bankrupt idea. So he's he's like a copy of a copy of a copy of a fucking copy.
But somehow his press, the people he's paid, there is, like, this contingent, I think, who really want to believe that he's, like, the real life incarnation of Tony Stark. Which gag.
I mean, I think this article kind of, like, at least explains that, you know, the reason people look towards figures like this is because of times of desperation and, you know, desperately wanting to make sense of, I mean, this website would say make sense of the contradictions of capitalism, but, you know, whatever, however you want to phrase it, I guess, like, make sense of, social ills, I guess.
Sure.
Going on. But yeah, this timepiece seems to be like, yeah, it's just trying to paint this rosy picture of, like, because of the pandemic, like, all bets are off, like, it's a whole new world, and Musk is the perfect person to step into the void and, like, fill it with his fucking vibrating cock.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like what am I trying to say? So, this writer and a lot of people who want this fucking mythical hero, this thing that they're saying Musk is, they're just fucking defeatists. They've decided that there's no way that we can, like, you know, fix a problem like coronavirus without just someone coming in and, like, making an invention that just fixes it without anyone having to suffer. Meaning that it's the same. They expect the same thing for, like, you know, fixing climate change. They don't want to do anything that would actually, you know, help climate change, like regulate businesses, because regulating people or convincing, like, the average person to recycle, that does fucking nothing. I wish it did, but it does nothing. Yeah, it's good that if you recycle, it's good. Keep doing it, but your recycled goods are probably getting dumped in the ocean. The only thing that matters is, like, regulating corporations. But these people, and there's a whole contingent of them, they want fucking wizards who come in and use their magic science to fix problems without, you know, so that we don't have to put any effort into actually fixing or changing things. Fuck Musk.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of, like, magical thinking going on in the world, and this is just, like, one more example of it, I would say. Like, it's, like, so delusional. Like, this article, I should say the critical article here, not the actual piece in Time magazine. Yeah, It basically talks about how Musk's fortune is built on like a farce and like a nothing, and like it's essentially like a Ponzi scheme, like because like he doesn't really produce anything, and his like Tesla's stock is elevated, but it's based on like a hollow nothingness essentially, because they talk about like how little cars actually produce and the fact that their cars are like defective so often. And just to put it into, I mean, we talked about it before, how I forgot what the percentage was. It was over 400 something percent, I think, is what he gained in profits over the pandemic thus far. So it says over the course of the pandemic, Elon Musk, like, and really taking these numbers, because I know it gets like, it just becomes billions and millions and whatever, and it all just like, it's so big and too abstract. But it says his wealth grew from a mere 25 billion in early 2020. I can't believe that's how little he had, like, compared to what he has now. So it grew to just over 300 billion in October 2021.
Currently, it's sitting at 255 billion.
Yeah, then it says before settling to a mere 250 billion.
It's all fucking imaginary numbers at that point.
But it's kind of what gets him attention. I mean, aside from his whatever stupid shit he does with the rockets or whatever. But I don't know. We don't really need to rehash too much of what's wrong with Elon Musk.
I'll mention one more thing.
Yeah, sure.
So I want to bring this up. The average single American contributes 30% of their earnings to taxes as of 2019. Elon Musk this year is actually up to pay more money in taxes than any Americans ever paid at the end of the year, which is 11 billion. 11 billion of his worth is 4%. So I guess it's 4%. I think that's right. Fuck that guy. And he's like on Twitter right now being like, I'm going to pay more taxes than anyone's ever paid. I was like, fuck, you should pay way more than that. You should pay 30% of your fucking...
It's like, hey, science head, hey, genius science boy, do you not understand what percentages are? Like,
oh no, he does.
It's just so stupid. No, it's stupid that anybody falls for this crap. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, am I surprised Time did this? Not really. I mean,
I just wonder how much he paid them.
Yeah, I don't know. That might fall under Bill Gates, one of his many outlets that he just pays off. But maybe I don't know. Musk and Gates must be sort of enemies, right?
No, I don't think any of those billionaires are enemies, man.
I mean, not in actuality, but like
they're all lizard people. Not real lizard people, but they're probably the only people that understand each other.
Yeah. Well, speaking of lizard people, the Democrats, what are they up to?
Losing.
Yeah.
They're up to losing.
Headline: The Democrats are trying to lose. Written by Dave Sirota. Dave Sirota seems kind of late to the party in a way to me, but in any case, I agree. I mean, this is again like an issue we've probably brought up a lot. Is that the way I would basically put it is I don't think they're ever really, as a party, like maybe there is individual Democrats here and there that do really strive and try to
yeah, I think there are. I think they're in like local politics, and then maybe they rise up to state level, then they get past the state level into what's it called when you're past state level? Federal level? Is that right? That sounds wrong to me. National level? God, I'm a fucking idiot.
Well, yeah.
I would just try to say the moment that they have the sit down with Nancy and she's like, hey, look, it was cool that you were trying to help the infrastructure in your small county, but that's not how we do things here. You now work for Lockheed, and you need to play this role while the other guys play this role. And you sit back, we'll make sure you're provided for.
Well, I mean, that's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, on the national level, like Congress, just broadly, the whole thing, the House and the Senate both. Like, I think, I would say especially the Senate of late, like, all of this bullshit with, using the parliamentarian and Joe Manchin and Kirsten, whatever, Sinema, as the
funny to me.
The sacrificial lambs or whatever, but like it's it's just beyond that as well. It's not just them; it's so many more people that are hiding behind it. Like they just don't mind playing the heels, and yeah. So like, basically, what's going on right now is that like this Build Back Better bullshit still can't like get through just because Joe Manchin, one stupid idiot from West Virginia, he's apparently holding up all progress in the entire country of the United States of America, which is absurd because Biden has. There's so many ways that they could pressure him into voting along, in lockstep, but they haven't done any of it. And yeah. I guess I mostly brought this article up because I my first thought really was like, well, no shit, Dave. and I like Dave Sirota, but like I was just kind of like, you've been like really sort of like idealistically, like naively, optimistically thinking.
I do want to say I kind of understand where Dave comes from because I also want to be optimistic. It's really hard, but there's times where it's just easier living to think, they can't all just be fucking corrupt. Even if they are all corrupt.
Well, it looks like he's basically like just submitted to the idea that not only are they just failing pathetically but
they're failing on purpose.
Yeah, it's very purposeful. And he goes on to list like, and not even a comprehensive but a pretty good bullet point list of basically all the things that the Biden administration has stabbed us in the back over just in the
I can't believe they're turning on student loans again.
Year. Yeah, student loans, and the freeze is being lifted.
So I've been trying to reapply for my income-based repayment plan, which is what I'm always on because of reasons. But the website keeps crapping out on me. And I'm like, am I actually going to be able to sign up for IBR this time? Like, it keeps breaking on me.
Oh, shit. You just made me realize something. I shouldn't keep a bank account in the U.S. because then they could start garnishing my... But I don't have wages. But I'm pretty sure they can just like go into your savings account at a certain point.
I have no clue.
I'm not 100% on that, but anyway.
If you're not, I don't think they can. But you probably would want to like.
Your wages can definitely be garnished, though.
Yeah, but you would want to apply if you're going to continue working abroad. You'd want to be like me and apply for income-based payment because you don't make enough money abroad to count as an income in America.
Right.
And that way you're making zero in America, so your income-based repayment monthly will be zero, so you're making your monthly payment.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Which is why I'm always on IBR because I'm planning on living in exile for, the next, I guess it's only 10 more years until my student loans are, forgiven or whatever. But I think I'll still have to pay the taxes on them. Because I think after 20 years, your student loans are just like kind of let go.
Oh,
I could
really?
be wrong about that. As long as you've made every payment, I need to look that up again. They could have changed it. There was a point where that was true. Maybe I'm just dreaming. I live in exile because I just didn't want to pay them. Now everyone on Heat Def knows my secret. Sometimes I don't want to live in exile, but it seemed easier.
I think we've talked many times about the fact that we proudly don't pay our loans back because we're on the other side of the earth. And I don't know.
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah, there's that. I mean, not much new to add to it. It's really the same old fucking bullshit.
So Build Back Better wasn't passed? Wait, no, that was the part that was decoupled from the infrastructure bill. And the infrastructure bill, like, we went over it when it was passed through the House, and it was like a shell of what we wanted, right?
Very meager. Yeah, it was a shriveled piece of shit.
Okay, the only thing I was excited about was the fact that they were finally going to push internet out to all rural regions of America, which I still think should happen, but I guess that's not going to happen.
I don't think anything can happen anymore. It's all just...
No, you just have to wait for Elon Musk to decide he wants to do it.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And then he'll do it poorly, but the government will give him all kinds of money to do it.
I saw this was like just kind of a clickbait headline, but I feel it's just kind of... I almost just want to read the headline and move on.
Okay.
I don't know, because, I mean, there's not much else to say about it, really. Like, it kind of speaks for itself. Also, this is one of those great headlines that begins with the two immortal words, Florida man, ... Florida man filed 745 tax returns in 4 years, collecting $235,000 in bogus refunds. Quote, I found a flaw in your system, and I took advantage of it. I like that. Just him saying, like, yeah, you guys fucked up. Why wouldn't I? But now he's in jail for 4.5 years. Damian Barrett.
They take his money, though? Did he get to keep the money at least that he worked hard for?
I'm sure they took all of the money
God
back.
Damn it. I mean, he worked hard for that. Filing taxes is like hard work for my ADHD-addled brain. That's part of why I forgot to do it last year, which I think is going to be a problem when I apply for IBR this year. Oh, fuck.
Oh, here's another one thing that's funny about it is that his job was he ran 2 tax preparation businesses.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he wasn't filing tax returns under his name. He was like, I guess, taking parts of other people's returns, was actually kind of shitty of him, because the people that are usually getting returns are the people who don't make a lot of money to begin with.
Right. He was just fucking over his clients, I guess.
Yeah, who knows? But his clients were still coming to him, so I guess they were still getting something, because you wouldn't go to a tax guy if you weren't going to get something, right?
Yeah,
fuck,
I guess so.
I used to get so excited about my tax return. Oh, it's been so
Same
long.
here.
One time a year where I'd have $1,000.
Yeah, it would be gone by like the next week too, because you get really cocky when you get the tax return check. It's like, oh, I got free money. It's like, it's not free money.
Time to go buy a TV.
This is just a quick PSA, something I wanted to throw in here. I think I might not have gotten this to you on the notes, but
it's okay.
Just, I didn't, because I just had no idea about this. And I do happen to know that at least one of our listeners owns a generator. And the headline here is carbon monoxide from generators poisons thousands of people a year. The U.S. has failed to force safety changes. And it goes on to explain how easy it is to die from carbon monoxide poisoning if you have a generator running, because what tends to happen is people either just unknowingly put it too close to their house, and it's just like expelling carbon monoxide. And there's horror stories basically that are in this article of whole families just dying because they're trying to like keep the electricity on, and it gets all tied in with like climate disaster. You know how climate disaster is definitely has increased the sales of generators, because power outages are more frequent, and they're going to be more frequent. And some people actually end up putting like the generators like not like in their living room, but like maybe in like an attached like porch or something. And and then of course, as always, like a lot of this comes down to how the government allowed the generator companies to regulate themselves. Wow, can you imagine that they didn't make huge changes to their product? Because apparently also some of these things are have sensors built into them to make them turn off, like if the accumulation of carbon monoxide is too high. But apparently also because there's like zero like serious regulation, these sensors are really shitty. And
of course they are.
They've found like many cases where there was like an absurd amount of carbon monoxide in the area where they found like an entire household dead, but the machine couldn't sense it because the levels considered dangerous had to be so absurdly high before the sensor would automatically shut down the generator. But anyway, I just had no idea that these generators carried this particular danger. So I figured I'd try to do a quick PSA there. If you have a generator, I could see myself getting a generator eventually one of these days once the breakdown of society really starts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If it starts, you gotta start.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so out of the frying pan and into the fire. There was a pretty big natural disaster in the United States that I guess made international news. Yeah, I mean you're the one who found these articles about the big tornado that happened in where was it again? Was it Kentucky and? No, wait, where was it? I can't remember now because it was
Kentucky. The factories were in Kentucky,
okay.
But it was a few other places.
They actually had one all the way up in Minneapolis, apparently, which is like extremely rare because it's like excruciatingly cold there. But anyway, the big disaster though was right in Kentucky. So what the hell happened?
What happened? Oh, also Illinois. Kentucky and Illinois. Think of it.
Southern Illinois, maybe.
Yeah, Edwardsville, Illinois, which is
Oh, right. My parents said they like know people down there.
So I guess oh, sorry.
So there were two factories that
demolished.
Yeah.
So like there was one in Mayfield, Kentucky, and there was one in Edwardsville, Illinois. And tornadoes were, heading towards these factories like they do, and, you usually go home, right?
You'd think so, or you'd think
natural disasters imminent. Or, you go to the basement, or you do the thing you're supposed to do during an emergency.
Yeah.
I think during a tornado, you're supposed to go underground if you can.
Yeah, get in a basement.
Hide under your desk. Hide under your bookcase. Go to the basement. That's not what they did. They told the workers to keep working.
This happened in both factories. So
the
one in Kentucky was a candle factory, but then there was a little up and coming warehouse. That was the other one, right?
Yeah,
that little mom and pop stores warehouse. Talk about Amazon, folks. Amazon, like the whole Amazon warehouse just got ripped in half, and like the ceiling collapsed and just crushed I think 6 people.
Yeah, 6 people. It looks like it was Sorry. 6 workers were killed in the distribution center at Edwardsville, Illinois, and there was a few more killed in the Kentucky one, right? Like 7 there.
Yeah.
8 people died. Eight in Kentucky, and
it was 14 total. 8 and 6. Yeah.
6. Yeah. Numbers.
But if you see the picture of see some of the pictures of this shit.
Well, these things are just destroyed. There was no reason, because at least in the Kentucky one, there was 14 workers that went and told their bosses over and over again. It's like, hey, this is dangerous. We need to go home. I think some workers just left. They were just like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. I don't want to be in the back of this tornado. I hope that's what I would have done, but I always go back and forth on that.
Well, it would be one thing if they were like, okay, everybody knows the protocol for a killer tornado, get underground. Except it wasn't that. It was just keep working, keep making candles. How is the world gonna live if we stop making candles for an hour?
I mean, it's the same thing that Amazon always does. Keep working. If you want to piss while you're working. You want to shit in your truck. Keep working.
So there was
this time it led to more death, right?
Yeah. So there was an additional element to the Amazon thing, though, right? About people even being able to keep their phones on them while they work.
Oh yeah, well that's a general policy there, but they weren't allowed to have their phones on them, so they couldn't make any calls, etc., to talk about the emergency.
Oh, so that's so this article is saying it's shining light on that policy for the wider public.
I think that was already a policy, though. I'm pretty sure you were just never allowed to have your phones on the factory floors in Amazon because they don't want you. I'm sure part of it is they don't want you making calls because you should be working. The other part is they don't want you to be recording something or cameraing something.
Yeah,
it's also scary for them.
Oh man. And I found this article. I mean, I'll have it linked, but it's an interview with the sister of one of the guys in the Amazon warehouse who is desperately trying to help his fellow coworkers, but he ended up getting a roof, on his head, along with a few other people. But yeah, she says.
Did you hear about Jeff Bezos' response to the wear? That's what the interviewer said.
Yeah,
She said she wasn't expecting much from Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos did not apologize at all.
Yeah. So this is an interview, and the sister of this worker says she didn't expect much from Bezos. The interviewer says, "Well, you'd be correct. He sent some boilerplate response Saturday evening, only after celebrating the landing of his space tourism vehicle, Blue Origin."
The lives of those workers made it possible for Blue Origin to land. Had we not had those candles powering our rockets.
And an earlier photo op that day. We should make it clear, I mean, not that it really matters, but the candle shop, factory, was just a candle factory. It had nothing to do with Amazon. But that's almost even weirder that this candle factory has the same sort of heartless policies, I guess, as a behemoth like Amazon. It's everyone's trying to get a leg up. But the interviewer continues to say he also had about Bezos. He also had a party set up that day, but since he was in West Texas that morning, it is not known if he attended it. His tweet did not go over well, and it shows this very extremely generic tweet about what a loss, thoughts and prayers, But yeah. I was like, what's next? Is it one of the fun ones? And I clicked on the next tab over. And here's what I see. Outgoing National Institute of Health director warns that Omicron variant means, quote, 1 million cases a day by February. So, Dr. Francis Collins, who, by the way, is a loony Christian outside of his capacity as a scientist. I remember, like, in the early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s, he was like he was trying to fight the good fight against like the new atheism and stuff, and then Obama hired him to be the scientist of America. Anyway, he said in an interview that he's projecting, and that, you know, many people are projecting, that the U.S. alone could have up to 1 million infections a day. Oof. In the next about 2 months from now. Less than that, like a month and a half. But he says, we cannot afford to let down our guard. The virus is not tired of us. It's having a great old time changing its shape every couple of months, coming up with new variants and figuring out ways to be even more contagious. He continued, commenting on Omicron's 57 different mutations, that the emergence of the new variant is, quote, almost like we're starting over with a different virus than where we began. Awesome. So yeah, I guess just that number leapt out at me. Of course, I mean, it's just the rate at which this thing is spreading is just incredibly fast.
Yeah, it's I mean, this is what's that word? Antidote, blah blah blah. I went to have a COVID test this morning, and the lines have been really short for like weeks now. But today, I got there like 20 minutes early, and there was already a line. Like, I got there 20 minutes before it opened up, and there was like a line, and I was like, oh Jesus, back to this. Which maybe I shouldn't be that way, but the old G's part, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's something worth noticing. I mean, me, like, being here in this kooky country, like, I've been making a big point not to be in crowds as much as possible, and I really haven't at all, except I did go to the DMV the other day. That was probably the most dangerous position I've been in so far. But I don't know, it was like social distance and everyone had to wear masks inside at least. So I honestly so far I was expecting worse than what I've seen so far, just in this little slice of Illinois. But I said the same thing to my brother, because I went into like a Target to find a present for my nephew, and I was like just saying, oh yeah, I noticed, like, even though they don't have to, like at say a giant store like Target, most people seem to be wearing masks. But then my brother just said, well, go to Walmart, man. Like, then you'll see the real America. He said he went into a Walmart, I don't know, whatever, sometime during the pandemic, and he said he was the only one wearing a mask, and everyone was giving him dirty looks. So there's that too. But yeah, basically, there's been like a 6-fold increase in infections in the last week in the U.S. That's just Omicron. But I mean, the jury still seems to be out about if it's
as dangerous or whatever.
Yeah, how dangerous it is. I think a lot of news outlets are desperately trying to say, like, hold on to the idea that it's not going to be as dangerous as, say, Delta. But, like, that's the thing to consider too, is that Delta is still like blazing its way through the populations as well. But I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. And then, of course, like our politicians over here are just being like extremely. I mean, honestly, this just sounds like the Trump administration to me.
It's even worse in a way because they've just decided that everyone's going back to work, and I think as a point of pride, they've decided to do nothing. Did you see all the wait, I have a picture on my phone. Did you see all the tweets going around to the White House, like press release last night?
I don't think so.
Okay, this is what the press release said. This is at whitehouse.gov. This press release was from last night, but the first two paragraphs of the press release. We are intent on not letting Omicron, I still haven't figured out how to say it, disrupt work and school for the vaccinated. You've done the right thing. We will get through this. For the unvaccinated, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourselves, your family, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm. What the fuck?
Yeah, and then that's quoted in this article, and right after the overwhelmed is, but there's good news. If you're vaccinated and you have your booster shot, you're protected from severe illness and death, which is sort of true. I mean, what they should really say is it greatly increases the probability that you're protected. But I mean, so as a rejoinder to that part, this article goes on to say, in reality, data from South Africa show that Omicron is capable of infecting those who have received 1 dose of traditional vaccines and 2 doses of mRNA vaccines. Omicron has also demonstrated the ability to reinfect those who have already been infected by a previous variant. And after more than a month of spreading in South Africa's Gauteng province, there are about twice as many hospitalizations from Omicron, similar numbers of patients in intensive care and on ventilators, and 25% more deaths. So much for Omicron being, quote, mild. But then, Biden and his representatives are just saying, like, in no uncertain terms are we even considering any sort of lockdown. Just get vaccinated. And look, I want everyone to get vaccinated too, but that's not the full answer. I mean, the full answer is basically what this article ends with. They write, what workers and young people should take from such warnings about transmission is that policies to slow transmission must be enacted. These include mass testing, contact tracing, isolation, mask wearing, vaccinations, and above all, the closure of schools and non-essential workplaces with full financial compensation for workers. There were more than 100,000 deaths last January. There must not be a second winter of death. Yeah, but there probably will be.
I wish there wasn't.
Yeah, this site always ends their articles with this, like, call to arms, like, workers of the world unite. And then it's just like, it somehow makes me more depressed because it's just like, they're trying so hard. But I mean, I found this other article, but we could move on from COVID shit because it's going to be a lot of repeating ourselves, I'm sure. But I just found this alarm article in the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists entitled, "Are you alarmed enough by Omicron? Probably not." Just the probably not with the period. I don't know. It's just funny to me. But yeah, I don't know. They like flesh out some more details about the whole thing, but I don't know. I think people get it. It's like super infectious. It's like way more infectious than Delta. And it's really not going anywhere. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it's really, it just feels hopeless to me. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I've just started to get like this like sense of just hopelessness whenever I think of actually dealing with coronavirus. Like even the places that were doing good jobs have kind of given up. Here,
except China. China's still going strong.
You know, China's still doing its
but
thing.
It's basically like it's in isolation. I mean, but like, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, and this shouldn't be shocking either. But the Biden administration just like bald-faced lied about Omicron. Of course, our favorite fucking idiot in chief, whatever, Kamala Harris, she did some press conference, and so she lied to the public by claiming that, quote, scientists and the White House could not have expected the rise of the dangerous new COVID-19 variant. Quote, we didn't see Delta coming, Harris said in an interview
Of course not.
published by Los Angeles Times on Friday. I think most scientists did not, upon whose advice and direction we have relied, didn't see Delta coming. We didn't see Omicron coming, and that's the nature of what this is. This awful virus has been, which as it turns out, has mutations and variants. Harris's lies aimed at evading responsibility for the catastrophic outcome of a possibility of sacrificing human life for private profit. Harris and Biden take the public for fools, expecting that a favorable media will not take them to task. Yeah, exactly. The world's leading virologists, epidemiologists, and health experts, however, excoriated Harris's statement. Quote, I personally warned the White House in December 2020 that variants were coming and we needed plans in action immediately, wrote Rick Bright, a member of Biden's COVID-19 Transition Advisory Board. See, like, people on his own boards, like, there's that other guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but who said that he had to, do like a 2 or 3 month lockdown. And yeah. So Bright also wrote that he, quote, suggested measures to detect and slow the spread and the need to update vaccines. But yeah. And it also goes into the fact that, like, most scientists have been demanding, patent waivers on the vaccines, and just, yeah, nothing is being done right. I don't know how anyone can seriously, like, wag their finger at the Trump administration and like sit and give excuses for the Biden administration. I mean, they're approaching this thing the same fucking way. All right, here's some good news to I assume you got your word on the COVID developments out.
I
general hopelessness.
General hopelessness. I know a lot of the internet's like, oh, we thought they were going to follow science, and I know that my general reframe is they have been following science, they're just not following the science that we want them to. I'm still with that.
Right, but I mean that's kind of implied what people mean when they say following science.
I guess I'm just being a dickhead. Which hopelessness turns people into dickheads, by the way. I've realized. Will it ever go away? Maybe. Will I ever be able to, like, travel again? Or I don't fucking know. I just wish it would go. I like, it's fucking terrible. It's all terrible. Like, it's almost to the point to where, like, the vaccinated could ignore it and we're probably not going to get in that much trouble, but then, like, if everyone starts ignoring it, there'll just be so much death for, like, the unvaccinated stuff. And I don't want that. I really just don't understand why we couldn't have dealt with this shit a long time ago. I feel like we should have been able to. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I mean, frankly, it just comes down to world capitalism is not. It doesn't bend for things like this. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, a corporation has no morality, even if the people inside of it are supposed to or whatever. But I don't know. Just as like this, like greater, wider, systematic thing. Like, I don't know. Like it's just insane how short-sighted all of this stuff is. Like there were some quotes in some of these articles about COVID, just about how like, yeah, you might take like an economic hit for a little while, but if you're willing to like give up one quarterly like profit margin, in the long run, you're actually gonna like, you know, probably be more successful, like just in terms of profit, because I don't know, just like a decimated populace can't buy shit. Like, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, and I had like you know, some other examples just about how like in Brazil, a lot of the scientists there are being like ridiculed by the politicians and by the media because they are warning against these very same things that we're dealing with in the U.S. and that a lot of countries, pretty much everyone except China, is basically dealing with to varying degrees, I guess. But but moving on beyond that. Did you hear the relatively good news about America's favorite family, the Sacklers?
There was good news about them. They died tragically, horribly. I mean, not tragically. They died horribly, slowly.
Richard Sacklers
from Chinese water torture.
Still slowly dying in a tar pit. He's just being very slowly
let in,
dropped into one. Yeah,
couple of centimeters at a time, but they're keeping him like an IV, so he's like fed with nutrients, so it takes longer. I don't fucking know. Yeah, I heard that a judge rejected the plea, rejected their deal, their concession, their right?
Yeah, their absurd deal where they were going to pay $1.5 billion as part of like, they basically just took
to get off from ever being charged again.
Well, they took like the hundreds of lawsuits directed at Purdue Pharma, the Sacklers company, and they basically got the judge to allow them to like bundle all of the lawsuits together into one lawsuit, essentially. And
I was pissed about it because it basically just meant that they were going to get off scot-free. I'm actually very happy to see this.
It's the start of something good, at the very least. But so what was going to happen was that they were going to pay $4.5 billion and then just walk away like unscathed. And yeah, I mean, that's like a small fraction of their family wealth anyway. So they would remain, you know, obscenely rich and whatever. But they basically have to stop. They have to get out of the oxycodone market, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean OxyContin is like no more, or is another company selling it, or what? I never got really clear on that, I guess. I mean, there's equivalent oxycodone drugs like out there.
Codon's still being sold. I think OxyContin might be off the market. I'd have to check.
Well, basically what this new judgment said was that this idea that they would be forever shielded from any lawsuit involving like opioids is absurd, and so he basically like just reversed this deal that they had going, which now opens them up to like, you know, infinite lawsuits basically, and I mean, they're still open to criminal investigation, but
I hope the family is sued into oblivion. And but I feel like I'm sketchy on this, but I know that earlier this year, last year, they were moving all their money to like foreign offshore accounts, and I feel like they could be sued into oblivion, and then like all their money's like offshore, and they're never forced to pay anything.
Yeah,
which is worst case scenario.
They definitely have money hidden in.
They just need to be fucking thrown in cages, maybe like not like killed, just thrown in like cages and put in an exhibit in one of their favorite museums. Actually, maybe put them in a lot of museums in the wings that were named after them, and let people come see them and throw stuff at them like empty pill bottles. I don't even like prison, so I don't want them in prison. I want them in museums, in cages.
That sounds like even worse than prison.
Well, maybe they deserve it. Most people don't deserve prison. But they deserve to have, like, I don't know, like, days where they're fed Oxycontin, like, on a main line, then, like, 3 or 4 days where they're not allowed to have it. They're in their cage.
Yeah, they get to experience firsthand what they've...
And we just keep them alive.
Did to...
I know, sure, they get, like, those pleasurable days occasionally where it's like, let's up the dose, let's double the dose. Hey, Sackler, you get 1,000 milligrams a day. You don't get any more this week. Don't worry, next week we'll give you 2,000.
Well, speaking of drugs, drugs that are much safer than opioids are psychedelics.
Is that true? Well, that's definitely true. I love them.
It's 1,000% true.
Oh, I know it's true. I know. I was just thinking about how much I love them.
Okay,
it's been a while.
So this article, again, from the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, it says psychedelics, the newest tool in nuclear negotiations. And there's a picture of Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev with like a fucking tie-dye burst behind them. So I'll just set it up here that read the beginning. The plan was simple. Give the psychedelic drug, MDMA. I don't think you can classify MDMA as a psychedelic, by the way. A little nitpicking there from me. I just think it's different. I think it's like its own classification of drug. But anyway.
I think it is classified as one, though. But I understand what you're saying.
To Soviet scientists and military personnel set to negotiate with U.S. President Ronald Reagan in 1985, thereby injecting empathy and cross-cultural understanding into the nuclear peace process. So that's just what Rick Doblin and Carol Rosen say they did. And they still believe introducing psychedelics into nuclear negotiations can produce positive results. People have such enormous fears and anxieties that get in the way of really hearing and listening, says Doblin, age 68. With psychedelics, you can get over these emotional blocks that also block our thinking. Psychedelics can produce a deep reliance on common interests and values. I mean, I don't disagree with anything they're saying, but it's also really easy to sort of laugh at these people, like imagining them like waving crystals around, like I don't know, right outside the Oval Office or something. But
I agree.
But I would also agree that it would just, at the very least, it would be funny. I don't know, but I'm surprised. Yeah, like well, who knows what these presidents get up to anyway? But no, I was just thinking.
I'm sometimes like think that. I mean,
you know,
the whole Sackler thing where they're like, punish the abuser and they, like fucking hate like drug abusers. But when rich people do drugs, they're never abusers. I'm pretty sure most rich people feel that way. Presidents, CEOs, when they're doing drugs, they're in control of ther destiny. First off, they can never fucking ruin their life because they have billions of dollars.
Or they're just victims of genetics, and they can't. But see, I would just say, yeah, a lot of times it's basically the case, but it's also the same as with poor people, except it's just even worse because poor people have far less alternative ways of dealing with stress or whatever that rich people do have access to. But yeah, I don't know, just the idea of like people like doing some Molly and then like discussing like the Iran nuclear deal or something just kind of tickles me. But
that sounds like there's probably been a time when I was hanging out with Molly, so to speak, that I said something to whoever I was doing with, like, oh, it'd be great if all the world leaders were just on Molly all the time, man. I'm almost 100% sure I've said that exact thing.
See, here's the thing, though, is that it would have to literally be all the time, because this is the second they come down, they'd be like, oh, fuck all that shit. They would reverse, like, any sort of deals they made. Like, like, you just get a ring, you calling up like the fucking president of Iran, and you're like, yeah, all that nice shit I said to you last night, you could forget it.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, like always, this article goes on for fucking ever, but yeah. I've noticed like so many articles really do just kind of repeat the thesis over and over again in a way. I don't know. I mean, this article's fine, but there's not a lot of point in reading much more from it, I guess, is what I'm saying. But there was apparently this sort of like like quote unquote plan, like this like duct taped together like type of plan that these two I assume it's okay for me to call them hippies. I'm just guessing based on what they're saying here about psychedelics. But yeah, they were gonna like actually like try to institute this idea, but of course they don't have any influence or whatever. One of them was like friends with Tim Leary, for whatever that's worth. Yeah, basically, it's exactly what you said. This is just these people sitting around on these substances going, wouldn't it be great if Reagan and Gorbachev could just dose up, man? And I wish
it would be.
I wish it were that simple. And like, I mean, I would definitely vote for it to happen if that could be a thing. If the country could vote on, shall we dose our president or whatever. But I'm just thinking about like presidents that like almost certainly did psychedelics at some point in their lives, which is probably not a ton of them, but definitely Obama, right? That
probably,
I
mean. He'd never admit to it, but probably. I imagine.
Well, he admitted to doing cocaine.
Oh, did he? I know he admitted to doing weed. I didn't realize he also admitted to cocaine.
That was...
Jeez, shows what I know.
Well, he was just... he was charming the fucking pants off America when he said that. That's why it was like... I think it was like leading up to his win, maybe, when... Or that might have even just been in one of his... like
books or something.
One of his books before.
One of his mini biographies.
Yeah, one of his 7,000 now scarred bios. Anyway, it didn't.
Musk's a better writer than Obama. I've read a bit of both.
I take your word for it. Totally.
I liked the first two Noscard books of my struggle. I don't think I'll read the rest of them. Well, I might one day. First two were actually pretty good.
I'll probably check them out at some point. The American addiction to speeding. Now, I just got my driver's license reinstated after like close to a decade of not having one, and so I've been driving a little bit for the first time in a long time, and this is definitely true. But I think the most interesting thing about this article really is just that how I think it was Carter, Jimmy Carter. He saw that there was this problem of like car accidents, and so he had the maximum speed limit put at 55 across the entire country, and it reduced the per mile death rate. Wait, hang on. I'm looking at the wrong part. Shit, I didn't get a chance to highlight this one. Just give me a second.
Highway death rate fell by 23%, right? When they put in the 55 mile per hour speed limit.
Yeah. Oh, well, here's the interesting part. So it's here is a interesting part. So it talks about I'll just read it. It says last year, when the pandemic shutdowns lowered total miles traveled by 13%, the per mile death rate rose by 24%. So less people were driving, but more people were dying. And they explain it by saying this was the greatest increase in 100 years, thanks to drivers hitting high velocities on empty roads. And the expert they're talking to, Roberts, says COVID was the midnight on the day shift. That's right, it was midnight on the day shift. And but then I'm trying to get to this thing about right. So actually it started under Nixon. So it was the 50-state slowdown known as the quote double nickel began in 1973.
55 miles an hour.
Yeah, the double nickel 55. So it didn't start under Carter. It started under Nixon. And it was supposed to actually, like, the original thing was that it was supposed to save gas because of there was a huge gas crisis.
Yeah, it didn't do that, though.
Starting up. And it looks like Nixon also had gas stations close on Sundays. And, various other, like, electricity saving devices and things. Thanks to the lowered thermostat, women were permitted to wear pants in the White House. That's a big change.
That is a big change.
Based on fossil fuel wars, basically. It all comes down to, like, now women can wear pants. See, it's not all bad. Nixon got Congress to implement a national speed limit. Also, it was supposed to conserve rubber because I guess your tires would last longer. But okay, so here's the part I'm looking for. In the first 6 months that that they lowered.
Everyone was pissed, right?
Well,
Tore the country in half.
People were pissed, but highway deaths fell within 6 months. Highway deaths fell by 23%.
Yeah, that's what I was saying a while ago. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But then as soon as like Reagan took over, and this became a culture war issue really as well. Like,
yeah, the seatbelts did too, by the way.
Yeah. Good old Nader and his Raiders got
people hate
living
change. Yeah, people hate things. People hate to be told what keeps them safe. Sometimes I hate it. I get mad at it too when people do it to me. I get it. Like when, but also I think regulations are good. So I wear my mask. Go ahead.
One thing I learned about this was that the Sammy Hagar song "I Can't Drive 55" was based on this era, and yeah, they reference a few other pop culture things that were basically about like. Yeah, the majority of America is like, fuck this. The man can't tell me how fast I can drive. Like, these are the swinging 80s where everybody, everyone's making so much money and got these fast cars. Like, can't tell me what to do. And then, like, it was part of Reagan's like campaign promises that he was gonna like eliminate that the 55 mile an hour cap, and he did. And guess what happened after that? Do you think that the deaths stayed down where they were before?
Oh no, of course not.
No, they went right back to where they were, and actually then some. Says right now the highest speed limit, it seems, is in parts of Texas at 80 miles per hour. I think there's
I think I knew that.
There's parts of the big empty states like Wyoming and Montana and stuff when I've driven out there where they just don't even have speed limits. I'm pretty sure like I might have to look that up later to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's just like choose your speed. You're a sovereign citizen now. In Montana, like
I've heard about this, yeah, but
I'm pretty sure it's a real thing, yeah. But
I think it is too.
Anyway, I mean, this is just again fits snugly in with the ever-present theme of like, oh, these stuffy regulations saving millions of lives. Get rid of those. We're gonna learn to live with more traffic accidents, just like we do with viruses. But yeah, maybe one last thing here about these pilots.
What is going on with our pilots?
I mean, so driving is it's got its risks. So many tens of thousands of people, I think, every year die in automobile.
I thought driving was like basically the number one cause of death.
Well,
almost.
Not compared to like heart disease and like cancer and shit, but yeah, I mean, with transportation, yeah, probably. Cars are up. I mean, anyway, this is all to say flying in a plane is much safer. And I've got this thing here from good old ranker.com again. Pilots relay their most terrifying experiences they didn't alert passengers of. This one, now the title of this one really misled me. I felt like, or maybe it was just my imagination, but it says here, he missed the other plane by mere feet. What I was picturing were like two planes at like 30,000 miles in the air, just like one of them just swooping within like feet of another one. and like just the people on one side saw it. But that's not what happened. What happened was, it was still dangerous. Not as dangerous as the thing I had in my mind, but basically, a plane was like getting ready to take off, and another plane just kind of drifted stupidly into the path of that plane.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I would have been.
So the pilot and the plane that was taking off had just like very suddenly and abruptly just like get the plane
had to pull up, get it airborne
right over the other plane.
Luckily, this guy's dad was, quick, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's someone talking about their a story that happened to their dad. Yeah. Or some of the other ones.
Windshield shattered while 26,000 feet in the air.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
The passengers didn't know about this one because you could see right into the cockpit from the cabin.
Well, they did know.
They did know.
But that makes me wonder, like, what era was the cockpit just open? I guess probably like.
I guess they survived. Cool. I mean, I've been on like really small planes. Not that small, where I could like see the pilot area, like a plane that's about the size of a small school bus. I feel like always when I've flown out of Keenesport, Tennessee to the airport in Atlanta, I'm always on like one of those real tiny airplanes.
Puddle jumper, I think. That's the slang.
Have no clue what they're called.
Yeah, the ones that you take to fly, like for example, my sister lives in Waco, Texas, and like my mom's going to visit her, so she has to fly to Dallas and then take one of those tiny little planes to get to Waco. Well, she doesn't have to. She could just drive for 2 hours, but anyway. Yeah, but the windshield of a plane just like shattering seems I don't know. They don't go into a ton of detail about that story, to be honest, but I wonder if it was like full on like busted out, or if it was just like a big crack or something. Because like wouldn't they be sucked out or something? It really is kind of a tease. Like I want to know like the details of what happened.
I guess that's why they have the seatbelts, man.
Well, right, but there's.
I don't think you get sucked out. It's not like space. I mean, because they have those like open hatched fighter planes from like World War II or whatever. I'm just talking out of my ass, but
but those aren't going like 37,000 miles in the air either.
I mean, I don't know how physics works, to be honest with you. I never.
You know what feet are, though.
That's true. I have 2 of them.
I fucking knew you were going to say that. Something like that.
Can't help myself.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've always felt
flying into volcanic ash. There's some good stories in here, but
lightning left a hole in the plane's nose.
Yeah.
Wind sheared. I almost hate to read this type of stuff though, like about like plane accidents, because planes are really safe. Though there is part of me that thinks that we should use planes a lot less, just because I know planes are really bad for the environment. Speaking of planes, do you know how much an F-35 cost? Just wanted to bring this up. To maintain over its lifetime.
I can pretend I don't know, so you can just tell me.
I'll let you know. It's to maintain an F-35, a plane that barely works. There's a lot of like critics to it because like they've repeatedly lost dogfights to F-16s, which are like 3 generations of planes ago. But apparently that's not the purpose. The F-35 can hold more missiles than any other fighter jet in history. They're also the most expensive fighter jet ever made. But to maintain one throughout its lifespan is about $1.7 trillion. And the U.S. military has quite a few of them. So, each F-35 we have is $1.7 trillion. I think we just approved the purchase of another one fairly recently with that big military budget. That's also $1.7 trillion is also the amount of money it would cost to pay off every student loan. So just think about that every time you see an F-35. If you feel like seeing that Blue Angels show and you're watching those Blue Angels fly their F-35s, just think each of those planes, everyone's student loans. That's where my tax money's going, this fucking Blue Angels show. God damn.
Yeah, except this thing doesn't even do air shows. It's more pathetic.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's fucking gross. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. How much time we've been doing? Yeah, we're at a good place to wrap it up. Oh,
I guess so.
I just realized I'm getting fucking tired too early.
Yeah, no, I think this is a good place. I gotta start getting ready to head into the office and work, teach children how to do stuff. That's what I do, I guess, kind of.
Okay, let's do some recommendations.
Sure. I'm going to recommend the new season of The Witcher. I really enjoyed it. I don't think there was a bad episode. It's fairly casual TV, but I like fantasy TV. I like escapism, and I've enjoyed both seasons of The Witcher. I'd actually say this new season was better than the first season. That's my recommendation. How about you?
I'm gonna recommend a band called I don't really know how to pronounce it. It's just the letter A and the letter U. So
I assumed it was just AU when you said it to me.
I mean, I guess it could be like ow. But it's just AU, we'll say.
Yeah.
It's mostly this one guy named Luke Weiland, but he collaborates with people. Like a lot of I don't know if this is so much the thing anymore, but at least in my heyday, the early aughts and the early 2010s, there's so many indie bands that had a band name just tended to be one person with a rotating cast of people around them. It was definitely the style at the time. But yeah, I just remembered this band that I liked, over a decade ago, but just kind of forgot about. And yeah, they're for some points of reference, I think they got a similar sound to the Microphones and to a band like Low sometimes when they do slower stuff. There's definitely some Animal Collective elements in certain songs too. But it's mostly pretty good, pretty original. Just I don't know, good percussion. This main guy is a good drummer, I think, too, in addition to all the other stuff he does. But yeah, good, solid, mood-building albums. And I can only speak to the album called Verbs, and then the self-titled one, which might have been their first one. When I just looked them up today, I noticed they've got some more recent stuff that I haven't heard yet. It's probably good too, but I only want people to judge my recommendation on the albums I just said.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check them out when I feel like listening to music. It's been a while, but it'll happen again. Sometimes I like music.
Yeah, I feel like it was pretty recently. That was like your whole recommendation was like music. Listen to it, folks. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
It makes you happier than podcast. But please listen to our podcast. I'm not going to promise we'll make you happy. But if we do make you happy, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. And
or in an Apple review. You can give us an Apple podcast review with 5 stars and say, you guys fucking depressed the shit out of me. Thanks. Or
I know that was a tactic of one podcaster. He would be like, give you that 5-star rating and roast me in the comments. If you give me 5 stars, I'll read your roast of me online, like on the podcast.
Sure, I'll do that.
It'd always be
only if you're roasting Josh.
Sure.
I mean, if you're roasting me, Josh will read the one about me.
Yeah. We'll trade off.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Main internet headquarters, I guess, is heatdeathpod.com. We got Twitter. We got a Patreon where we're just trying to break even over here. And I think that's
until next time.
Yeah, until next time.
Okay. I'll see you later, Josh. Have fun.
See ya.
Over there with your day and stuff. Okay. Bye.
All right. See ya.
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?